primary bronchial tubes go into the lungs, so that's why the heart's removed. But we're going to pretend it hasn't been removed. Alright, this is the first one I've done this semester, so let's see. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the heart and the arteries. This is the heart. Here's an atrium. Here's the other atrium of the heart. Okay. And coming out of the heart, you have the aorta right here. See that they chopped the base of the aorta right there, but the aorta loops around and it continues on down, 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 down into the abdominal cavity. See that? Branching off of the aorta, you see these little things going between the ribs that are red? Those are intercostal arteries. Now, if you'll pull out your, Tim, you might want to pause it, if you pull out your diagram, all right, the left common carotid. Well, in cats, there's a brachiocephalic that comes off, and then there's the left subclavian, okay? Now, the one called the brachiocephalic then branches. Brachio means arm, cephalo means head. So this is going to branch off and take things to the head and arm. And so what you can see branching off of the brachiocephalic is the carotid. That's not a carotid, that's actually the vagus nerve. But this red one is the carotid, left common carotid, right common carotid, and then this one that's called the the one that comes off, this one's called the subclavian, because it's always your patient's right or left, so this is the right subclavian. Branching off of the subclavian on both sides, you have one that's called the internal mammary. You see how it would be going to the chest here? Okay, but it's on the inside, so that's where it gets its name. But you can see where it was following along here. I don't know if we can find it on this side or not. Oh, here it is. Here it is coming off the subclavian on the left. Here's the left subclavian, and there's the mammary coming off there. Now, the next thing you have is this little sequence of vessels that come off all in a row. And I call them the dreaded VCT, and that stands for vertebral, costocervical, and thoracervical. And I think there's 7, 8, and 9 on your list, but you'll have to look because I don't really remember numbers very good. And they're going to be coming off right after this mammary. There's one of them. Let's see if I can find the other one. There's another one. See it right there? And then finally, the one called thoracervical usually takes off and goes up this way. It's right there. It's a little bitty one. So those are the only little bitty ones you have, the VCTs. Okay. Now, can you hold this arm back from me right there? After you pass the VCT, the subclavian changes names. It's no longer called, it's no longer called the subclavian. It changes names, and it's called the axillary as it moves under the underarm. Okay? And then, once you pass this major branch that goes down, let's see if I can find where it's going down, under the shoulder, it's going to be right down in here. You just have to trust me just for a second. There it is. Okay, once you pass another branch, then it turns into the brachial as it moves into the arm, because brachial means arm. Okay, now that branch that I wanted to show you that you have to know, see how there's this vein right here? That was a subclavian vein. It looks like it's gotten broken off. But there should be, see this main artery that comes off and goes down, looks like it's going up under the scapula? That's the subscapular artery, and that's the breaking point where it changes from axillary to brachial going into the arm. Okay, now if you will review these, I will come back and go over the veins with you in a minute. And like I said, you're just going to have to kind of hold the heart in place. Okay? Okay. Can you hold that open for me right there? There's a broken heart. Uh-oh, this has gotten torn. I'm going to have to do another cat. That's okay. All right, for the veins, you have the superior vena cava here that empties into the atrium on the side, okay? You've got the inferior vena cava right here, right there, okay, inferior vena cava. And then there's one other real big one, and you'll have to pull out the vein picture to see it. There's one that dumps into the superior vena cava. See it coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up, and dumping in? This one's called the azygos. Don't get that mixed up with the inferior vena cava, okay? Azygos. All right, so we've done 3, but we've got to do a few more. Now, with the veins, it's called the vena cava, superior vena cava, until it branches here and here. I guess stuff was actually branching into it. When it branches here and here, it's called brachiocephalic. By the way, you can see where the internal mammary was coming off vein to drain the chest. See where it got broken right there? You often have to pull this out of the way, and so sure enough, it was pulled out of the way. Okay, so it's called brachiocephalic just very briefly until anything else comes off, and then it changes names, and it changes names to subclavian. Okay, and so right here it changes to subclavian. A major thing that comes off is called the jugular. This is the external jugular here. Here is, this got broken, here's the external jugular on this side. And sometimes you can see an internal jugular, and sometimes you can't. In your case, let me see if I can find an internal jugular.
Yeah, we were looking for that and couldn't find it.
There might be, you can't, I mean, there's certainly nothing on here that shows up very good. Sometimes you'll have a cat, though, that'll have it even. I mean, the internal and external will be about the same size, but that's unusual. Usually it's this pattern, and that could be, nope. I don't see an internal on yours, which is not terribly uncommon. There's one major branch you have that comes off of the jugular, and it's this one called the transverse scapula. If you'll pull your pictures, I'll try to get here's a picture. Let me show you where that is. That's number 8. You see that? 6 would be the jugular, common jugular, and then the only thing you have that comes off of it is this transverse scapula right there. Okay, and you see what I mean by it starts out as the vena cava, and as soon as it branches, it's listed 5-5. Do you see that? That 5-5 there is brachiocephalic. And then you see as soon as anything else starts branching, it changes names to number 9, which is the subclavian. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you pass subclavian, okay, so subclavian here. And then from there, if you look, coming off of this, you're going to have this big vessel that goes under the shoulder, just like the artery. And that big vessel is the one called the subscapula. Once you pass the subscapula, it changes to axillary, just very briefly. And then when you pass up one other big branch or another branch this way and it moves into the arm, it's called brachial. Now, there are 2 things I left out that you have to know. Those are the number 3 and number 4, the right vertebral and the left costocervical. Let's see if I can find those. There's the one on the left, so there's the left costocervical. And looking for the other one. I don't see the other one. I don't see the right vertebral. But now, see, this has gotten broken, so it's hard for me to tell what's what. That could be it right there. Looks a little high up. That could be it, though, right there. My guess is it probably is. Right there. Okay, I think you have been taken through all of it now. How about that? Okay.